Hey, this is JT. In the last video, I showed you how to properly perform a 90-90 mobility drill. In this video, we're going to take that 90-90 and go into a flow right into a shin box get up. Now, if you need to know how to do the 90-90 properly, go watch that video at this link. And once you've done that, come back to this video so we can get right into the shin box get up without having to take time explaining the 90-90 in detail. Now let's get to it. Okay, so we're going to go from the 90-90 right into the shin box get up. And the way that we're going to do this is you're going to try to properly perform your 90-90, which keeping that hip planted to the ground. You're going to come in as far as you can. Once you've come in as far as you can, you're going to go ahead and you'll feel that nice stretch to those glutes if you're truly in as far as you can with the hips planted. And once you're in as far as you can, you're going to go ahead and come up. Once you come up, what you're going to do, you're going to take your hips and you're going to have your torso 90 degrees relative to this leg. Then what you're going to do, and you can use your hands on the ground. It's totally fine. Ultimately, you don't want to use your hands, but when you're first starting out with this, it's totally fine to use your hands to spot yourself. What you want to do is keep your spine neutral. You want to keep your chest up. You want to keep your eyes forward. And then what you're going to do is you're going to extend your hips. So you're going to rise up. You're going to extend your hips. That just means, so right now my hips are flexed. We're going to open them. We're going to extend them. So you're going to rise up like this. And when you get here, what's going to happen is full hip extension, okay? Now, when you do this, what's going to happen is you're going to get a nice stretch to the hip flexors. You're going to feel those glutes engage. You're going to come back down. Okay, once you come down, you're going to then go through the 90-90 to the other side. Bring those knees down as far as you can. Once that's the best you've got, you're going to come up, hip square, 90 degrees here relative to the forward leg. And then you're going to come forward, fully extend those hips. You're going to come back down, and then you're going to go into that 90-90, and you can go back and forth. That's where you're going to turn this into a flow, keeping in mind that it's totally fine to use your hands so that you can get the best 90-90 that you can, feeling that active stretch throughout the glutes. So get that nice active stretch, finish it off, come up here, use your hands if you need to, no big deal, help you get up. When you're here, you should feel that hip flexor stretch. You should feel the glutes engage. This is an excellent exercise to combat excessive sitting. You're going to sit back down. You can try this with no hands, where you're going to come up. You're going to come into that 90-90, trying to keep your hips planted as best you can. I find it a little easier to get a good stretch throughout the glutes if my hands are down during the 90-90. So for me, I like to do it this way. Get that nice stretch, then come up. Extend the hips, right back, then come up, extend the hips. You're going to do it just like that. You can always add a weight to this exercise, either a dumbbell or a kettlebell. The only drawback to adding a weight is you're not going to be able to take your hands and put them down to get that deeper stretch and increase in range of motion in your hip internal rotation with the 90-90. So if you have the weight, all you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and do your 90-90 the best you can. Then you're going to square the hips 90 degrees relative to this leg. You're going to come up and then back down, and you're just going to go the other way. Like I mentioned, when you're not putting your hands down, you can't quite get the same level of hip internal rotation. You can't keep your glutes posted to the ground. So for that reason, if I'm going to weight these, what I like to do is I like to do a set of just 90-90s where I'm staying squared forward and I'm working that hip internal rotation. Maybe you're going to do, 10 each way, whatever the case is. You're going to do that first. Then at that point, what you're going to do is grab your weight. You're going to go ahead and focus on doing this in a loaded manner without really worrying so much about trying to maximize the hip internal rotation, because you just can't get it to the same extent as you can when your hands are down. I hope you found this dynamic mobility flow beneficial. Now, I know in addition to mobility, you need to make sure that you focus on strength training. So I'm going to give you a full body, 20-minute strength session that you can do to make great progress. And you check that out right here.